All right, so I wanted to take a minute to show saddling and how I do it with a young one or a new one. Um, this is probably, well, I don't know. I was told they saddled her from the people I got her, but I, maybe once it would be my guess because when I got her, I worked with the saddle and it all seemed pretty new to her. So this is probably the third time since I've had her. Um, and I didn't capture those first times just because I didn't really think to video it, which was silly, I know. But I do have videos of me saddling horses for the first time. Anyways, but I just want to show kind of some things and talk through. So first and foremost, this is my setup. I have my pad right there, my headstall, and my saddle thrown in the dirt. There's a reason for that. I don't just disrespect my tack for no reason, typically. But I do. Oh, here, hold on. And this is the reason why. Oh, she just stopped. This is the reason my saddle's in the dirt. She is smelling it and she's chewing on it. And this is also why I have saddles that I'm okay with horses chewing on. This is so good for them mentally to just put their mouth on it and get to figure out what it is. So many times people just throw a saddle on a horse and the poor thing has never even gotten to smell it or anything. They just get a piece of dead cow thrown on them. So I always try to let my horses smell the saddle and the pad and drag my saddle through the round pen. Hurts a little bit, you know, you spend a lot of money on your tack, but I do have a cheaper setup that I buy specifically for that. So I just have my wool pad. Usually the first couple times, if I have it available, I have like a Navajo single sheet type pad that I'll use. I've also used towels to just like sack them out really good and just like throw it all over them and be obnoxious and throw it at their feet. Um, but we've done that plenty and she's been pretty good with it. And you just saw I sacked her out with the flag. She's getting pretty over this whole sacking out thing. So I always let them smell it because, of course, they need to smell everything. They're horses, that's what they do. That's their hands. And bite on it if that's what they choose. I also pat them with it all over their body because, you know, again, you want them to not be afraid of it. And also, you know, a lot of people like, you never put it on their legs. What's going to happen if it falls off and touches their legs and they have a freaking aneurysm about it? So, if she wasn't acting like this, I would just keep sacking her out until she's pretty much just calm. Good girl. And so normally I'd walk her. Again, she has done this enough that I could probably skip some of the walk, sack out, walk, sack out, walk, but I want to show it because it's, you know, a video. And I'll take it, snap it on her. I always say I want to saddle them the first few times like I'm the biggest doofus ever that has no idea what they're doing, has no coordination, which I don't, but you see these people that saddle and they're like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. All you're doing is, well, one, you're scaring them more because anytime you move slow like that, you're just pretty much reinforcing the fact that you are a predator and it is scary and you should be afraid. But also, are you going to saddle them like that forever? Probably not. And thirdly, you know, if I'm moving really slow, what's my goal? To make her think it's not there? So what happens when she realizes it's there? She's going to blow up and freak out and buck and knock the pad off. So anyways, I'm obnoxious. But there it is. Pad's on. Good girl. I'll let her walk around. I have never had a horse buck off a saddle pad. There's first for everything though. Um, if she does, then we'll just start over. I don't think it's really that much of a backwards thing. Like, I don't think it sets us back if she was to buck it off. Um, we would just go back and go, okay, and do it again. That's my personal opinion. And again, everyone has their opinions. So now I'm waiting for the saddle. And then again, I think I mentioned this in my last video. I don't have her tied for a reason. I never tie my horses in these first few sessions. Actually, I don't really tie my horses a lot for the first like couple months probably of all this stuff. Because if she's gonna freak out, I want her to freak out. I want her to be loose. I want her to figure out the right answers to hold her feet still. I don't want her to be forced. There's a time and a place, don't get me wrong. Like, I do tie my horses for patience and stuff and to learn to tie, but it's not when I'm doing these things, like saddling, sacking out. So my Tritos saddle, it's light. It fits all the horses. I like it. And I bought it for cheap on eBay, so I don't care if I stomp on it. Again, let her smell it. And then be obnoxious with it. Girl, be obnoxious everywhere with it. And she should stand. And the first few times she did not stand. You know, she looked at me funny and kind of shied away, and we just kept working on it until, like, I kept just doing it in one spot until she stopped, and then I'd walk away. And she's kind of getting it now. And then pat her with it, and then really obnoxiously do it on her back, and then take it off. And this is where you get your workout. One of the pieces of advice I got was about the time you think you should like move to the next step. Like, for example, when you put the saddle on and you're thinking, oh, I should tighten the cinch now, pull the saddle off. Start over. Okay. I'll walk around. Girl. Yeah, what is that? Good girl. And this demeanor, I won't get on one until they're like this. They shouldn't move their feet. They should be half asleep. They should be calm. Yes. Both sides. Good girl.
What are you trying to do?
Fine. No kids. And then, sorry, my socks are hanging in. Oh, and then, I intentionally don't put my stirrups up or anything. I want this stuff to be obnoxious. I want it to flap and hit her. And the first few times it is going to scare her. But that's kind of the point. You want them scared. You want them to figure out that it's okay. None of this stuff is going to scare them. So I guarantee you, eventually at some point in a horse's life, a cinch is going to slap their belly or a stirrup's going to hit their side. Life, you know. Good girl. A bunch of kids riding around on like little RC cars. Do you hear that? What is that? Good girl. Good girl. What is that noise? What is that noise? So then, for the cinch, same thing, just pet under. She should already be pretty comfortable with that area. And then I usually flip this like a lot. Really make sure she knows it's there. Mary. Okay. All right. So that is really, she's so tiny. I don't think I've ever had the saddle on her. So then usually the first couple, like the first time I put a saddle on, oh my gosh, girl, you are tiny as heck. When I first move them out, I do like to keep them a little bit out of my space in case they do blow up. I've saddled her enough times to know she's, well, she might buck, but I know she's not going to go full bronc on me. Let her move around a little bit. If she did go to bucking, I would, stop her. I would disengage her, make her stop and think for a second. I might even come up and touch her some more with this, and then send her out until she was calm. It's not uncommon for them to buck at least a little bit, but if you went slow and really sacked them out and did everything right, you really shouldn't buck much or at all. And then switch directions too. Oh, you little squeal. So this isn't the saddle I've put on her in the past. I have a Colt starting saddle I used, but it was like sliding down her back. And I decided to move to this one. Be a little bit more comfortable for her. And the last portion of it is, again, just be as obnoxious as you can. Slap them. Get the sounds. Girl. Fling things. Both sides. Girl. She's struggling a little bit where if I move my body at all, she thinks I want something from her. So we're still working on that. And just as my little disclaimer, I usually do all this stuff in a round pen, but have what you have at your hands. So that's pretty much the gist of what I would do with a saddling first or fourth, I guess.